Okay.
Yes, sir, we are live.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Dear officers, a very good evening to one and all. Hope and wish you are preparing well. Let's continue with human relations. Please do answer. Why did human relations theory emerge? What was the basis? Please do answer. Why did human relations as an organization theory emerge to begin with? Okay. So now please listen to me. Public administration, especially organization theory and behavior, very important and they are interconnected. There is a sequence, there is a logic, there is a movement of ideas, there is an evolution of ideas which you have to concentrate. So I repeat, public administration has a subject is not like any other subject, whether it is political science, whether it is sociology, anthropology, because in all those subjects, the thought which emerged, in fact, was independent of another thinker to a greater extent. But here, public administration or administration has a specialized subject emerged very, very late in the evolution of human history. When did, please answer this, when did administration has a systematic study begin? Please do answer this question. Very nice. 20th century. Very good. Then please do answer. Wilson's essay on public administration, great, very nice. Very, very important. You have made the point clear. Administration has a systematic study, is just 150 years old. Before that, was the administration, was the organization present? The answer is yes. Administration has an activity, is present since the very existence of human race, the formation of society. Any group work definitely requires organizing, definitely requires administration. But even after hundreds of and also thousands of years, nobody bothered to study about organization. Nobody bothered to study administration in a very, very systematic way. So here, all the thinkers whom you come across, they are concentrating on two macro level big ideas. One is administration. Where is administration carried on? In organization. So these are the only things. How to make these two to work to the maximum extent, optimum level. This was the quest of all theories. Which is the oldest model? Please answer this. Which is the oldest model explaining the organization and administration in a very systematic way? Which is the oldest? You can abbreviate. Among all the models which are present. Please do answer. You should be very fast. Very good. Bureaucratic. Bureaucratic model. What bureaucratic model spoke of? Please do answer. What were the key things characteristics, the most important defining things with respect to bureaucracy. Bureaucracy is all about an impersonal organization. An impersonal organization. Very, very important defining thing for bureaucracy. What is bureaucracy? An impersonal organization means one is not related to another within the organization by personal things. You may be related to another if you are in the organization by certain rules, regulations, position, hierarchy, all these things. But you as an individual, you are not supposed to relate yourself or any interaction personally. Very, very important. Bureaucracy is a impersonal organization. What is bureaucracy for? Please do answer. What was the very basis for which the bureaucratic model was systematically built by Weber? What is the work of bureaucracy here? Work of bureaucracy. See, Sambhavam IAS. What is the objective? What is the work? So here it is about, very important, please note down these things. This defines the whole bureaucracy. This theory, this model, this idea type of bureaucracy was built to enact and execute the laws, rules and regulations. Laws, rules and regulations are already made. Enacting those things and executing those things means here two things. One is you are also abiding by those things. You are also following those things. And you are make sure that others are also following. This is bureaucracy. So by this, what is the inference? We are considering organization has a structure, as a non-living thing. We are dependent and we are guided, and in fact it is the most important principle that this organization is impersonal. So no personal relations, no informal relations. That is one. Then came scientific management. Scientific management was in the quest of finding one best way. In this direction, it tried to solve all the problems which were there at that point of time, which were decreasing the output. So here the concentration was on the shop floor, on the workers, and it considered humans as economic man. Means they are motivated by money. So here once again, humans' feelings, humans' relations were not at all considered. A worker was considered as an economic man. When you consider one as an economic man, you are ruling out any possibility of influencing the output through non-economic factors, the relations, the psychological things of an individual. This was one of the limiting factors. In line with these people, so here the sequence also you have to keep in mind. After scientific management came the principles era. So here they tried to differentiate from scientific management, though in reality Tyler was also talking about the principles, the standards. These people were also talking about the principles, but here they made a little change. What is the major difference between scientific management and classical theories or administrative management? Please let me know. What is the major difference? Okay, the major difference was Tyler was concentrating on the bottom, shop floor. In fact, Though their line of thought, everything was also like principles, they concentrated management also. So they tried to differentiate scientific management by changing even the title itself. For that, they named this as administrative management. This was one of the things. What was the similarity between scientific management and classical? Both thought that the principles are universal. This can be applied anywhere and everywhere, in any institution, in family, in church, in temple, in any non-governmental organizations. So, coming back to our classicals and scientific, by focusing on the structure and thereby thinking of providing universal, the word universal is important, universal principles, they forgot that man is also a social animal. His efficiency, effectiveness depends upon the social factors, his psychological factors. None of these concentrated on that. To test these things specifically, to test the Taylor's hypothesis, Mayo conducted a series of experiments at Hawthorne's. So in that, some startling findings were highlighted. For the first time, you have to go back to 100 years back. First time, they like a kind of shocking thing for them. They discovered that the human factor, the social factor, the interaction, the collaborations, what they have, do affect the production of the organization. Man is not just only motivated by money. Say, for example, working at Sambhavam, one of the factor will be money, but it may not be the sole motivation for a teacher to work there. There are many other things, how we are treated. Is a teacher has the scope for growth? Is teacher able to make an impact? Are the students satisfied? Say, for example, all the students are very much satisfied and they say, sir, like, I owe a lot for you. It also makes a difference. The culture, what they have, everything. So this was the very beginning of human relations. Afterwards, a systematic study with respect to the behavior of an individual was done by behavioralists. Right? So here, very, very important one. Behavior is a systematic study. Beginning of it was human relations. Right? Is the things clear to you? Any doubt with respect to the things we have discussed already? So this is the line of thought. So here, in human relations, informal organization was highlighted. In fact, with respect to coming to the open model, the beginning was made by Follett. That was carried forward by Barnard. Afterwards, to a greater extent, it was taken to the zenith, the pinnacle by Simon. Along with that, many others. Even system theory was influenced by Barnard's thought. Chris Agris, Leichardt, MacGregor, all these things, all these people were influenced by Barnard's thought. So today we'll wind up with the human relations part. Most of the things we have covered. Afterwards, we'll start with Barnard. In fact, generally, after human relations, teachers taught behavioralism. That is not the correct way. Because what behavioralism stands for, first we have to study. That is through studying Barnard and Simon. Once you study these people, what they have done is nothing but behavioralism. Right? So having said this, let's get started. Follett was from classical era. So how is she an open model organization. So very good point. I have made this point clear. Definitely Follett was from classical era. Her thoughts were way ahead of her times. She was speaking of human relations then itself, but it was just a beginning, not a very systematic one. Very systematic one was done by Howard Thorne studies. Okay. So any other doubt? Okay. So if you have got any doubt or anything like that, you can message me. You can ask in the class, and also to improve the quality, improve the effectiveness with respect to the class, your suggestions are most welcome, because our only aim, the end of the class, is you getting succeeded. Before that comes your satisfaction, which is very, very important, right? So these were the closed models which we have discussed. Okay. Behavioralism was a systematic study of the extension of human relations. Mayo conducted experiments and others. As we discussed, human relations was a reaction, was a critic to the classicals and also scientific management, because they stressed only on formal structure and they took mechanistic view. They neglected human element and social psychological element. This is the crux. Human relation बोले तो इतना ही लिखना है. Okay. They applied a clinical method that is taking into consideration of all the aspects which was lacking previously. So here, like you may have to have a one line word for these things. Say for example, illumination experiment. So it was done to determine the effect of different levels of illumination. So here, what was the finding? Please let me know. What was the finding here we have discussed? Okay, with respect to the previous year question, Follett was from classical era. How is she open model? That was the thing. For that, I answered. After that, the supplementary question was, so can we say in classical era we had open model? So here we definitely the thoughts were there in a very rudimentary form. But the problem is, like Follett did not give a concrete model, concrete concept. Rudimentary form, it was the beginning. You can say that open model to organization began with Follett. You can say that. So what was the finding here? Illumination experiment, effect of light did not affect the productivity. Very good. So they decreased the light. Production went on. So they thought that with the physical conditions, the production will vary. So what they did, illumination, that is the intensity of light, they decreased. What happened to the production? It increased. Oh my God, what is this? They still decreased. Still the production was increasing. They almost made it near dark. Near dark. Still it was increasing. So what is the inference? So other than, note it down, other than light, in bracket, physical conditions, there are some other elements. There are some other elements which are working and which are increasing the production. So now comes, what are these? So then you have to write like social and psychological and also you have to give Haworthorne effect. What is Haworthorne effect? What is Haworthorne effect? So when someone is being watched, observed, their performance won't be natural. Their performance is because they are being watched, supervised. So illumination experiment. Afterwards, another experiment was done that was with respect to relay assembly test room experiment to observe the effects of various changes in working condition on the workers' output. There also, they found that there are some other things, definitely like which were not present in the scientific management thought, which were affecting in increasing the production. And ventilation therapy, that is interviewing, there all the workers, they expressed many important things as to what motivates them with respect to organization. Bank wiring experiment, very important to know how the social group influence the output. See here, the most important striking thing is these were some of the things which were not present, or the people of scientific management and the management, classical management, were not aware of these things. They're not, well, they were not aware that social group, workers group can influence the production. It can increase or decrease. They never thought. So these were the things which you have to be writing. Okay. So organization is a social system. Workers are social animals. They are not inert or isolated. So here system is one where each and every component is interconnected. Okay. Coming to the human relations theory, it has got three important things. So here you have to think in a very broader way, not just sticking to the things which I am providing. You have to understand in a very macro level. So individual, what all related to individual and the output and the organization, you have to write. Informal organization, participative management. So here we have discussed with respect to the individual. So here emotions, perceptions of the individuals are to be controlled. The level of workers' production and the organization output is determined by human relations at work rather than the physical and economic conditions of the work. Physical conditions like providing all the equipments, all the facilities, and giving all the money may not increase the production. How the worker feels, that plays an important one. Emotions, perceptions. And in this famous line, each person is unique. Every individual is unique. He brings to the job situation certain attitude, beliefs, and ways of life, as well as certain skills. In terms of his experience, previous experience, each person has certain hopes and expectations of the job situation. So informal organization. How was the informal organization defined? Please do answer.
Sir, sir, your voice is muted.
Okay. Okay. Informal organization. What is an informal organization as they defined? So these are the things where you need to note down the key elements, key words. Informal organization is a set of work relations that grow out of mutual interaction, a person working together over a long period of time. Very simple one, common sense definition. So informal organization is a set of work relations. Here the most important thing is relations. What is informal organization? It's a set of work relationships. How does that relation emerge? because of one's interaction in an organization over a period of long time. Okay. It is a shadow organization that exists within the structure of formal organization, and it was emphasized. Attention is focused on social aspects of man whose overriding need is seen as desire to belong, to be accepted by, and stand well in his group. Previously, scientific and classicals, they said that give money, they will work. But here, the focus was on the social aspects. We all want to be recognized. Is that fulfilled? Is the work group recognizing those things? Where you stand in your work group, all these things matters. So formal and informal organization, we have differentiated these things. Formal organization is enacted, written. Formal organization is rational, impersonal. It is planned, it is legal. On the other hand, informal organization is customary, natural one. It is not written. Informal organization is emotional and personal. It is spontaneous, natural, and it is societal. So these things we have discussed. And coming to one of the most important one, informal organization sets the production norm. Very, very important. Please underline this thing. Informal organization. What do you understand by informal organization? The set of relations, the small group, what you have. So group of this social group determine the production norms and behavioral patterns. Means here, worker is acting not as an individual. Worker is acting as a member of the group. I have given you the example. Say, for example, class. Institution is also an organization. Here, any student, when a question is asked with respect to who made the noise, who was mischievous, he never acts as an individual. He acts as a member of the whole class. Do you agree with me? So here too, the worker was acting as a member of the group, not as an individual. Your behavior in the class is determined by not just you. It is determined by your class, the group of students. So now let us see how informal group was determining the production, was influencing the behavior. So often, like I have given this in a technical term, in a technical and in a clear-cut way. Here we go. So these norms were: one should not turn too much of work. One should not turn too much of work. One who does it is known as red busted. Say, for example, in the organization, everyone generally think that average they are producing 5 units. There is one person, say for example, Tiwari just started producing 10 units of work. Then all the people in the group make fun of these people. See, that red buster is coming. He can produce 10 units. If some more money is given, he can produce 100 units. He's not bothered about his colleagues. He's not bothered about his society. They may tease like that. Not only that, you cannot produce even 1 unit. The least. One should not turn too little work. If one does, they are said to be Chesler. See, Chesler is coming. Good for nothing fellow. Just producing 1 unit. And one should not tell the supervisor anything that will react to the determinant of associate. If one does so, he will be called as squiller. So we'll say, see, teacher ka chamcha aa gaya, dekho, dekho, teacher ka chamcha aa gaya. So this one was that. So don't get carried away by this word. These are the words they were using. So you need to remember these things. Squiller means who tells negative of the group. Chiseler, who produces very little. Red buster, who produces very high amount of work. Then one should not attempt to maintain social distance or act officious. For example, infected should not act like one. I'm a superior. You have to listen my words. I'm your boss. तुम कौन हो मैं कौन हूं. It should not be. So these were the things. So one should not attempt to maintain social distance or act officious just because you are a manager, you are an inspector. Clear? Please note down these things. Red buster, chiseler, squiller. One should not attempt to maintain social distance and act officiously. Any doubt here? Okay. Very nice that you don't have any doubts. Let's move forward. Okay. So here, human relations rejected David Ricardo's rabble hypothesis. What is this rabble hypothesis? This says that humans are like herd, means group of animals, unorganized individuals, act purely on self-interest. So what is this rabble hypothesis of David Ricardo? This is a general one. So it assumes that humans to be herds, unorganized individuals. They act purely on self-interest. Means they won't take into consideration of group interests. They don't take into consideration of societal interest. They don't take into consideration of family interest. They just act on their own. They are not organized. Means there is no relation among the group, within the group. Say for example, group of sheep, group of animals, group of donkeys. Are they organized? Or is one donkey helping the other donkey? Is one buffalo helping the other buffalo? No, that was the assumptions. Human relations theory highlighted the effect of work groups on workers' motivation, satisfaction, and production. Mayo, according to Mayo, man's social situation in the work group ranked first and work was incidental. What was the most important thing for an individual? According to Mayo, it was social situation in the work group. What is your position? That is true. Say, for example, you remember your college days. For students, getting marks somehow will be important, but that becomes incidental. How you maintain, manage, interact with the group, with the students, that matters. So very important. First and foremost important for a worker, a very, very important one. Please, you have to apply these things in your theory, in your application, and also in your day-to-day activities. If you are building an organization, if you want to improve the production of an organization, first of all, you should look into the social situation in which the worker is. Work is incidental. Here, Rosberger, he makes a very pertinent thing. How to increase the production of an organization? Production of an organization can be improved by the worker. So here, to make the worker more productive, he said that you classical scientific management people, you are applying non-human data. You're talking about the structure. You're talking about specialization. You're talking about the principles. You just follow these principles, you will get highest production. Are you getting the point? How can the output in an organization improve? It is definitely by humans. how to improve the human resource. For that, you are considering non-human data. In fact, you are not considering to begin with at the first place. He says, too often we try to solve human problems with non-human tools and in terms of non-human data, principles, structures. It is my simple thesis that human problems requires human solution. Human problem to be brought to the human solution requires human data and human tools. So what is this human tools? Workers are not isolated, unrelated individuals. They are social animals and be treated as such. What are the human tools he is talking of? The way you communicate, your position in the organization, your position in the informal group, motivation, aspects, moral, decision making. These are human tools which you have to apply. Instead of that, you are using non-human tools like principles. You are bringing the concept of functional ownership, gangplank, hierarchy. You are using all the things, but there, one surprising aspect is you are missing the human element. Is the point clear to you? Here, the most important thing with respect to the classicals and scientific, they somehow not able to find the exact solution. They did not find in the beginning that it was the human problem which was decreasing the production. And added to that, they used non-human data and tools to solve these problems. So participate management. So what is the literal meaning of that? Participative management. Please do answer. You should be answering this. This is a very simple one. I'll give the clue. Participative decision making. Participative management. How participation will take place, it should be managed. How much one contributes. Very good. So here, very important. You are almost near. Please listen to me. Management. So take for the example, scientific management. So here, they did not involve the workers. With respect to administrative management, once again, no. It implies that the workers were not involved in decision making. They were not involved in solving any problem. Say, for example, the thing that the production was decreasing. Production was decreasing. Output was decreasing. What was done by scientific and classical management? They tried to solve this from among the management. At the top, who will be there? They tried to solve this one. They never involved the worker. This involving the worker in the management, in solving the things, in decision making, is said to be participative management. Is this clear? So here, all those involved in the organization, all the people, maybe at the top, at the bottom, all the people trying to solve a problem, managing the affairs, involving in the decision making is said to be participative management. Human relations theory advocates a style of participative management, and it is in direct contrast with the scientific management. Why it is said to be in direct contrast with scientific management? It is in direct opposition. So Tyler said that workers should not initiate. Means he should not start any work. He should not take any decision. He has to just listen to management. No participation at all. Clear? Participation of workers in decision making with regard to the working conditions. The management should consult the work groups, their informal leaders, before introducing any change in the program or work schedule. So here you have to take a bigger picture. Participative management means you have to involve one individuals. You have to involve informal organization or the work group. You have to involve the leaders, their representatives with respect to everything and anything you do in the organization. That is the meaning. Clear? Any doubt here? Okay. So what are the merits? What are the merits? Please now shoot the points. You have to think. What is the merit? Say, for example, in our class, we have got a problem. So I decide the things. Okay, we'll do this, we'll do this. Instead of that, when, see, we all come together, we'll have a meet. We'll have a informal meet. Let us discuss, like, what is the problem? Where are you? What is your position? What you need? What is your concern? Then afterwards, we evolve a plan. We execute that. What is the merit of this thing? I will see like who can give more points. Multiple minds will come and conclusion will be affirmative. Very good, very nice. Then what else? You are involved in participation. Your decisions are heard. Will you feel happy? Will you feel dignified? Will that be more realistic? Improve the decision making. See, say for example, at the top you are there in the management. Say for example, our own institution. At the top, management thinks that this should be done so that students will get benefited. But when you involve the students, you will come to know the real problems. Workers know better and the real problems will be solved. The feeling of belongingness and responsibility will be developed. Yes. If the management gives a timetable and you find some flaws, you can criticize. On the other hand, चलो सब बैठ के एक प्लान बनाते हैं. Win-win situation for both. After that, you cannot complain because you have given that one, right? So the same here. This is in general with respect to the advantages, the merits. It permits the workers to discuss with the supervisors and influence the decision that affect. So these are general things. So here, workers' voice is heard and they can influence the decisions. So workers influencing the decisions. It develops a sense of participation. I participated and my decisions were highlighted there. They were taken care. It results in high productivity. It makes working environment more pleasant because workers' ideas have been implemented. It prevents the alienation of the workers from the management. It facilitates the acceptance of organization goal by the workers. So these are in general, and you may have to add another 3, 4 of your own, right? Very simple and general. Let me see. Democratic decision making. Very good. Okay. Better adoption to changes. Very nice. Now, what are the positives with respect to human relations? Please shoot the points. You have to. I have never criticized anyone who has given wrong answers. If you don't give, your thoughts are not clear. That is the implication. Human relations. What are the positives? You can just write the findings. What are the findings? But sir, PM absents at government authoritative level. Yes, with respect to that, that is there. So you can add this point there. Say how you can have participative management. Participative management. How you have to apply to paper 2. Paper 2 is about Indian administration. So here, number 1, please answer this. Who is the CEO? CEO of Government of India? Please answer this. Who is the CEO of Government of India? Very good. PM. PM is the Chief Executive Officer. So here, Constitution itself has provided Council of Ministers. He has to discuss with the Council of Ministers. Right? Not only that, these people once again have to discuss with the permanent executive, the civil servants. Civil servants once again have to discuss with the field officials. Field officials once again have to discuss with the people. So this has to be done. Okay. So there are some positives. What were the positives? One is, please give points. What are the findings? So the findings is, okay, reduced conflict. Reduced conflict was the effect. Okay, still. First is economic man. This was discarded. So here workers are social animals. Social man concept was highlighted. So here they highlighted the human factor. Human factor. These were mechanistic. They highlighted the social and the psychological aspects. Psychological aspects. They highlighted the importance of informal group, how informal group affects the production. They highlighted the importance of individual, his emotions, his feelings. These are in general. So these are positives. But there are also certain criticisms also. What was that? Say with respect to Hawthorne experiment, if this is the organization and these are the workers, they just concentrated, just took some 4 or 5 members and they did the experiment. So here all the workers were not involved, right? And second defect we can say, like often we heard that human relations was highlighted to the highest. They almost always gave importance to good human relations. They were not stressing much on the economic aspects. So ऐसा बोल रहे थे कि like you provide good human relations, even if you don't give money, they will come and work. That was in fact criticized by Marxists. So in fact, they called these people as cow sociologists. Let us see these things in a very systematic way. They are general, simple. Give due attention and understand the things. I am explaining each and every word till you understand the things. It's a very, very important one. And I repeat, see, for example, like very important, listen to me. So here, often, I always have said, PYQs are the first thing which you have to refer. But with respect to optional, especially with respect to public administration, what I am saying is you can answer only when certain portion is completed. The reason being, I have already told, One is interconnected to another. Bureaucratic, classical, scientific management, human relations, behavioralism, organization development systems. This is also connected to organization behavior. Once you have got clear thought, the basic things, the crux, the cream of these things, once you have internalized these things, you can try answering. If you start answering the questions now, the holistic, the whole bigger picture may be lost. Right? So for that, let few things be over. Afterwards, we can discuss the things. Say for Follett, I provided the question because it was a concrete one. As we proceed, we'll be taking up most of the questions, right? There were critics with respect to the nature of the experiment itself. They said that workers were neglected. They said that you just was concentrating on the relations, not the workers. In the process, you neglected the organization. You are not bothered about the output. Make the workers happy. That was your solution. You did not give importance to the nature of the work. What was the work going on? You did not concentrate. You just concentrate on human relations. By just saying that improving the human relations will suffice and neglecting the economic aspect, in a way, it was a method by some critics to exploit the workers. Factors other than human relations drove greater productivity. So, factors other than human relations drove greater productivity. That was one of the finding. Not only human relation, they found that you are saying that human relations will give highest productivity. But we have found that other than human relations, there are certain things which increase the productivity. This was the one. Let us move through these things. So here, with respect to the positives, as I told, Hawthorne studies and human relations theory have made a landmark contribution in the evolution of administrative thought. For these were the people who brought the human element, which was missing in all the thoughts previously. Significance of human relations is with respect to discovering and emphasizing of informal organizations. These are the things which I have already discussed. First time they said that informal organization determine the output, which exists in all organization and facilitate teamwork and collaboration. In fact, Mayo is a behavioral scientist long before the term became popular. Nature of experiment was criticized. This we have already discussed with respect to Hawthorne studies, Hawthorne effect. Workers react positively and give their best when they know that they are being observed. So this was one of the defect. Nature of the effect, major defect is this one. See, what will happen? There is a room and you have kept some students or workers and you are watching from outside. Definitely their behavior won't be natural. So workers react positively and give their best when they know that they are being observed. So it is not natural. The critics say that the behavior of the workers during the experiment was not natural but was influenced by their feeling of importance, attention, and publicity they received in the research setting. Next, lack of scientific basis. You just took some workers, you did some improve like interviews, things like that, and you came up with some results. Scientific base was not there. You took very less number of participants, selecting an unreliably small sample of 5 to 6 girls to generalize. Methodology was defective. The method you applied, the clinical method was defective. This was, to a greater extent, these were the things which were deciphered from the experiment after like nearly more than 15 years because the data was there. failed to define sharply the ethical presuppositions of his scientific work. So here they fail to define as to what exactly you are evaluating. What is the standard you are taking? So they fail to define ethical presuppositions. Mean to say, here the most important thing to evaluate. Say, for example, you can evaluate only when you have got a standard, a benchmark. So there was nothing like that. You simply conducted and you simply gave certain results. Neglect the workers also, devoted much attention to the informal relations among the workers and between the workers and supervisors. You did not give much attention to the workers. Little attention to the formal ones, or at the articulation of formal relation with informal ones. So here very little attention was given to formal ones. You just was concentrating on the informal ones. Informal relations do matter. You would have given little importance at least. So they did not consider, they gave very little importance. It ignored the environment factors of workers' attitude and behavior. They were just concentrating on the informal group. They were not concentrating on the bigger system, the environment. So this was one of the defect, and it gave rise to systems approach. Could not explore the multidimensional phenomena of human motivation completely. According to human relations, what will motivate? What will motivate workers? Please do answer. What will motivate workers? Okay. Social and psychological factors and the Hawthorne effect. Great. Good wages, better environment. You can say that better environment to a greater extent. You can, like, to be precise, like informal relations, because we have already mentioned that has like good salary, good behavior, authority. Okay. Informal relation was the major thing. So by saying those things, it was just saying that these may be the reasons. In fact, they did not precisely say like what will motivate the workers to do the highest of their efficiency. Could not explain the multidimensional phenomena of human motivation. Previously, the scientific management and the classical theorists, they simply said that humans are economic man. So they will be motivated by money. This said that they will be motivated by the social relations. In doing so, even then, they were not able to explain what exactly motivates a worker. And there was no place for tension and conflict. Workers do fight among themselves within, and also with the organization, within the management. All these things were not taken into consideration. So the conflicts, all these things were not spoken of. Okay. Organization, with respect to organization, nature of work, as we discussed, neglected the nature of work and instead focused on the interpersonal relations, neglected its work and purpose of organization, and concentrated more on the members of the organization, not being aware of the economic dimensions. So it was not at all concentrating on the work. It was not at all concentrating on the purpose of the organization. It just concentrated on interpersonal relations. There is a critic that they exploited the workers also, especially the Marxists say that Moyos is a new technique to exploit the workers, as it has de-emphasized the economic factors. De-emphasize the economic factors means, like they said that there is no need for giving a lot of money. You just give them good relations. So for that, they were criticized as cow sociologists. They were criticized as pro-management, working for the management, and anti-union. Factors other than human relations draw a greater productivity. Factors other than human relations draw a greater productivity. Most agreed assessment. This is a very important one. This is given in standard textbooks like Nicholas Henry and Stephen Robbins. This is the latest finding. So here what they found is other factors other than human relations also increase the production. What are there? One is, like as you are aware, like Haverthrone effect. Workers react positively when they are observed. So that is not natural. The observed worker feared of being laid off. And unlike other workers, they were given rest period. They were given group incentives. See, when you are observed, when you are given group incentives, definitely there will be a fear which makes them work more. So this is one of the most agreed upon conclusion as to what increase the production, right? So here, please listen to me. This is one of the most important one. So how you have to interrelate the things? According to human relations, the human relations increase the production. But of late, after studying the entire data which was collected during the research, it was found that overthrown effect, fear of being laid down, giving rest period, and group pay incentives, all these things increase the production, not just human relations. Is this clear to you? Any doubt here? This is the latest finding. Okay. Nice. So here, like what I expect is to write the key points, keywords. Don't once again write the same things what I have given. And afterwards, try to think upon that. Crystallize every theory into a very small concrete pack. Okay. Now coming to Chester Barnard. Any doubt with respect to the things we have discussed? If you have got any, please let me know. Okay. Now listen to me. A very, very important one. From human relations, a new chapter begins in organization theory. Clear? The things we will be studying are entirely different from the previous principles. So in this regard, the human relations, the idea of open model was started with Follett. It was taken forward by Barnard, afterwards by Simon, and all the people afterwards you study in the syllabus. Even it influenced the systems approach. So here Barnard was the first full bloom behavioralist, first complete behavioralist. full bloom, full evolved behavioralist. Though Follett was talking some things related to human relations, behavioralism, they were in very rudimentary form, not concrete to a greater extent. Right? So Barnard was the first full-blown behavioralist, very important one. The ideas of Barnard, very, very important person, influenced almost all the thinkers whom we'll be studying afterwards. So here, majorly the concepts revolve around these things. Formal organization is a cooperative system. Very, very important. For the first time, he emphasized and gave a defined formal organization as a cooperative system. What does system means? Very important. System means something where all the parts are interconnected. And this interconnection is by cooperative effort, cooperative system. And informal organization is a natural system. Once you establish, if you establish formal organization, informal organization, the stato organization will naturally emerge. Contribution, satisfaction, equilibrium. Listen to me, the crux I will tell you so that it will be easy for you to understand all the things which we discuss later in a very systematic way. So contributions to the organizations are provided by the individuals or the workers. The money, the facilities, these things is provided to the workers by the organization. Worker will be in the organization as long as he is getting more satisfaction than what he is contributing. So there is an equilibrium here. One is given by the workers and another is given by the organization or the management. When there is an equilibrium, then only the worker stays. Say, for example, worker is working more and he is getting less satisfaction. Definitely the worker will leave the organization. And also a very important point noted here is an organization can be viable. An organization works only when it is able to provide satisfaction in sufficient levels. Say, for example, take our own organization, Sambhavam IAS. How long will the teachers be working in Sambhavam organization? How long the management people? How long the administrative people working in the organization? Until and unless they have higher satisfaction when compared to their efforts. Say, for example, there is one person who is working from morning to evening, thinking that, say, for example, we have got optional, all these things. He's handling nearly 15 classes per day, managing all 15 classes, everything. But at the end, he is not getting anything. He is getting very less. Then definitely he will leave. A simple theory. Then acceptance theory of authority. So here, what was the nature of authority in case of Weber? In case of Weber, what was the nature of authority? What are the three bases of authority by Weber? Not traditional, it is legal, rational. So here, you may, please listen to me. Traditional authority, you respect elders, you respect teachers, because that is based on our customs, traditions, traditional authority. Second one is charismatic authority. There's a person, say for example, a teacher who has mastered the whole public administration polity or anything which you want to master. So You respect his authority. He has got authority because of his personal strides. And yeah, IAS officer, he got authority based on the laws, rules, and regulations. Is the point clear to you? Similarly, here the basis of authority is acceptance by the subordinates. Is the point clear to you? If here they are saying that if the subordinates, if the subordinates don't accept don't accept the orders or communications, then definitely there won't be any authority itself. So acceptance of the orders or acceptance of communication by the subordinates is the basis for the authority. Then communication principles 7, decision making and functions of executive. So here especially decision making is elaborated to a greater extent to the highest level by Simon, and in fact for that he got Nobel Prize also, right? Now coming to the comparison, coming to the classical theorists or administrative management people, they emphasized on principles. They were trying to unearth, they are trying to find principles and apply these principles which were said to be universal. Taylor said this is a biggest mistake. He called this as jokes, he called this as proverbs. He told that you leave this and concentrate on decision making. Decision making should be the center of all your research. Okay. So please centralize these things. These are the only things which you have to study, and this should be the basis for all the studies which we'll be making in behavioralism and also in systems theory. Right? Follett, Barnard, and Simon. The things which I have already discussed. Barnard is regarded as the first full-blown behavioralist. He further developed the line of thought initiated by Follett. According to Barnard, organization is a social system. Organization is a social system. So what does social system means? Social system in general, this is not the definition given by Barnard, that is the reason I'm given in bracket, refers to the structured networks of the relations. So here social system refers to the network of relations that work together to form cohesive and functioning whole within the society or a group. So what is organization? If you think this as organization, it is the network of relations A, B, C, D, E, F. Organization is a network of relations. All that put together constitute organization. And what is administration? Administration is cooperative social action. So here the part social means it is including the relations, the societal aspects, and there is an element of cooperation. If there is no cooperation, there cannot be administration. So by saying this, he emphasizes social psychological aspects of administration. Barnard is one of the pioneers of behavioral movement and regarded as the spiritual father of social system school. So please read this fast. If you get any doubt, you can ask me. So these are the two things which you have to write down. Organization is a system. Organization is a social system. Administration is a cooperative social action. Right? Any doubt here? So what I request, dear students, I am giving the cream, the crux. You have to read repeatedly again and again, and you have to make a very, very short notes to begin with. Don't try to make notes now, because your understanding of the things will entirely change as we proceed. So ideas of Barnard, as we said already, it influenced decision-making theory of Simon, new human relation theory of Chris Agris, Leichardt and McGregor's. Is this in our syllabus? This one, is it in our syllabus? Human relations theory of Chris Agris, new human relations theory. Yes, very nice. Similarly, the motivational theories which we'll be studying by Maslow and Herberger, very, very important. They might have asked more than like 5, 6 times. And institutionalist model of Philip Selznick, it is not in the syllabus. We'll try to have a brief idea of this systems approach. So almost all the things which we'll be studying in future are influenced by Barnard thought. Coming to Barnard, he has written two important books. In that, the functions of executive, which is there in your syllabus, functions of executive, organization and management. Coming to the concepts and principles. So now I want you to shoot down some of the concepts which we'll be studying, which I have discussed. Please go ahead. What are the concepts which we'll be discussing? I have already shown 7 concepts which we'll be discussing. Okay. Now listen to me in a very, very systematic way. The things which I have already discussed in a systematic way, I'll be going through. I'll be going little fast because like if I explain the same thing, you may get the feeling that these things are simply repeated. Okay. So here, formal organization is a cooperative system. How an organization comes into being, how an organization comes into existence. For that, Barnard says that comes into existence when people are able to communicate with each other. How organization comes to being? When one individual is able to communicate with another, when they are able to understand the communication of others, then only organization comes. Number one, when they are able to communicate with one another. Second, willing to cooperate. If this person and this person are antagonistic, organization cannot come in. Can you think of an organization where all the people are, instead of cooperating, they are at war with one another? Organization cannot come. Here, that cooperation is channelized in such a way that to accomplish a common purpose. This is it. Right? So, by this, organization has 3 elements. One is communication, another is willingness to cooperate, another is common purpose. Once all these things are there, an organization will come. Say, for example, think of this situation. Think of our Sambhavam. So here, think that 1,000 students are there. So here, in this regard, an organization of students can happen only when one student is able to communicate with another. When one student is willing to help with another. When one student and the other students, they come together in pursuit of some goal, then only a kind of organization can happen. Say, for example, with respect to Sambhavam, management, teachers, students, when they are able to communicate, when they are willing to cooperate, then only an organization comes into being. Otherwise, it would have not. Clear? Organization is defined by Barnard as a system. What is this system? Once again, so the meanings which I give with star mark intentionally, I'm taking due effort and I'm making these distinctions. These are not the thoughts of Barnard. The meanings which I give are simply the dictionary meanings, yet they are authentic meanings. So organization is a system. System means where there is interconnection and interdependency between the parts. Organization is a system of consciously, purposefully coordinated activities or forces of two or more people. So what is the implication? You cannot have organization within a single individual. Can we have organization with two people? The answer is yes. You can say Barnard's definitions. Consciously means an organization, formal organization. Now, please tell me, formal organization is a planned one. Second, is an unplanned or natural one. Which is the correct answer? Planned one. Okay. What about informal organization? Informal. Is it planned or natural? Natural. See, take the same. Say, for example, you may not be having the like bigger idea of you working or an organization. Think here in a school or college. So how do you become friends with one another? Is it planned? ओ लड़का उससे मैं दोस्ती करना है, मैं एक लड़का या लड़की, सो उसका हाइट इतना होना है, उसका एजुकेशन इतना होना है, उनका ड्रेसिंग पैटर्न ये होना है. If they have this kind of behavior, then only I will interact. Is there anything like planned? No. So informal things are like spontaneous. Workers, they go there, and afterwards they came to know, oh, you are also from Navodaya. Okay, I am also from Navodaya. You are also from Delhi. I am also from Delhi. Oh, you are also Gouda. I am also Gouda. Things like that. So informal are natural. Organizations are planned. They come into existence when you are able to like interact with one another. Say, for example, think that Delhi. How Delhi think that there are crores of people? How an organization comes into place here? Then say, for example, one Tiwari ji contacts with another Tiwari ji and they are able to communicate. They are able to understand. And there is another Tiwari ji will be willing to put whatever it takes, cooperation. And all the Tiwarijis, they want to achieve certain goal, common purpose. Then only organization. Tiwariji one has his own goal. This person is having his own goal, his own goal. They are not cooperating. Organization cannot be formed. Right? So this is the meaning with respect to formal organization. So don't take me other way to involve you. At least by this, I'm taking your name. So if you find something offending or anything like that, please do inform me. I have no intention of any kind. Okay. Sir, you are hurting the sentiments of Tiwariji like that. No, it's not like that. So same things which you already know. In fact, like as I always say, this is one of the biggest common sense subject. See here, these are the things why I'm saying common sense is you are studying something which was told 100 years back that this is the new one. You already know those things. Okay. Okay. Tiwariji gave is like, go ahead. No problem. Okay, good. So informal, the same the other way around. So here all the things other than the things which I provide in abstract as meaning are said by Barnard. Informal organization. What is informal organization? It simply says a very important thing. It's just aggregate of interactions. What is informal organization? Does it has any structure? What does it mean? Say, for example, like any factory, they interact with one another. So this is nothing but informal organization. So one interact with two, two interact with three, three interact with four, four interact with five. All these interactions are nothing but informal organization. Is the point clear? Informal organization किधर है? It is elusive. It's subtle. In your school, in your college, ऐसे देखते देखते like एक group हो जाता है. Boys group, girl group. Then once again, there also another group. Tiwari ji one group. Gaudas one group. People from North India, another group. People from South India, another group. Rich people, one group. Batch banker, last benchers, their own group. And first and second benchers, their own group. So it's simply an aggregate of contacts and interactions and associated groupings of people. Is the point clear? What is informal organization? According to Barnard, it is just sum total of all the interactions, all the contracts, all the groups. So here you may be having this as one group, this as another group, this as another group. You may be very active and you find yourself in all groups. There will be some people like this. Right? So aggregation of personal contacts, interactions, and the associate groups of people. Informal organization are natural systems, spontaneous. They give rise to formal organizations which are artificial systems. So very important here is a making very pertinent thing. These are natural things, and in fact, these things give rise to formal organization. And one confusion you may be having, sir, what about formal organization? You are talking of informal. Very, very important. They coexist. Very important thing. Formal and informal organization coexist. Formal organizations are vitalized and conditioned by informal organization. Rejuvenated. Say, for example, think that there is an organization. Working hours are 10 to 5. But your boss may ask you to work beyond this. You have, say, for example, you are a subordinate, you have got some doubt. So you may contact through informal channel. Sir, has to how to go about this. I'm not understanding. Sir, tomorrow I have got a meeting. I've got an important thing where I want to go. I don't have any idea. Can you provide some idea with respect to these things? Right? So informal organizations coexist with formal organization. What are the functions of informal organizations? Okay. Simple, very, very simple, common sense things, but you have to make these points and you have to reproduce as it is. Communication of intangible facts, opinions, suggestions, suspicions that cannot pass through the formal channels without raising issues. What is boss thinking of you? So definitely will be there, right? Communication of intangible facts. Intangible facts means those which are not very apparent. Opinions, suggestions. This happens by informal organization. Say, for example, this is a formal organization. And you made a WhatsApp group. So all are there. Beside that, you also have one informal WhatsApp group. There, Toko. किसका ऊपर बॉस का ऊपर हियर यू आर वेरी ओबीडियंट सर वट एवर यू आर सेइंग इट्स वेरी फाइन सर यू आर जीनियस सर आई हैव नॉट कम अक्रॉस ए पर्सन लाइक यू आफ्टरवर्ड्स इन द इनफॉर्मल ग्रुप यू से क्या बकवास कर रहा था मैं इसको 10th स्टैंडर्ड में पढ़ा हूं, बच्चा बच्चा जानता है, इज जस्ट सिंपली like spoiling our time, right? Second function is maintaining cohesiveness of the organization by regulating the willingness to serve and stability of the objective authority. Next, maintenance of a feeling of personal integrity, self-respect, and independent choice. It's because of your informal organization, you have got a kind of personality, because it is highlighted by classical and Weberian theories that it is an organization should be impersonal. So here, informal organization is the means of maintaining personality of the individuals against certain effects of formal organization, which tends to disintegrate the personality. Organization, you have got certain rules, regulations, everything. Now you are entering into the organization. Definitely, you have to shut down many things. Shut down many things. So there are high chances of disintegration of individual. There, you find an informal group. Say, for example, think that there is a big organization. Think hypothetical one. Me, I entered into organization. Think that I am Gouda. Think that like I am vegetarian. I am teetotaler. No bad things at all. Like Sri Ramachandra, like that. So when I entered this, I found many things different. But afterwards, I found one more Gouda. And afterwards, I found one more. Say, for example, Thakurji. Thakurji also has the same things what are present in me. So we form is informal organization. Boss has like scolded me. We'll discuss in this one. We'll have solutions here, right? So the three things, the functions performed by informal organization is communication of intangible things, maintenance of cohesion, bringing the things together and acting as an adhesive, maintenance of the feeling of personal integrity, self-respect, and independent choice, right? So any doubt here? So dear students, one thing, if you are not making the key points, simply you will be in the wrong direction. Just going through the things afterwards, bhul gaya, gone. Don't do that. What I expect is, say for example, Barnard. Just you have to make one page key points. That is, say for example, functions of informal organization, communication of the intangibles, maintaining cohesiveness, maintenance of feeling of personal integrity. That will suffice. Itna hi karna hai. That's it. And you have to repeat them again and again. Okay. Any doubt? Okay. Contribution, satisfaction, equilibrium. So now contributions are provided by whom? Very important concept, very important, based on which the whole decision making by Simon is also dependent. Who provides contributions? I have explained this. So simple. So listen to me here. Very simple, common sense one. If you like have a fair idea of the things, it will be more than sufficient. Listen to me now. Contribution workers. Think that worker is contributing worth 100 units, something like that. He is getting satisfaction. Think that 120 units. This satisfaction may be provided by many things. Say, for example, money. Say, for example, his satisfaction, his ego satisfaction. He is getting a dignified one. dignified position, and many, many other things, social relations, all these things. Then the workers will stay. Think that the same 100 units and the satisfaction you get after putting all these things, think that it is 80. Definitely you will leave the organization. Clear? So here, very important, what is the corollary? How to retain a worker in an organization? How to retain a worker in the organization? Satisfaction provided by the organization should be more than the contribution provided by the individual. That's it. Clear? The same things here. Survival of an organization depends upon the contribution, satisfaction, equilibrium. According to Barnard, survival of an organization depends upon the maintenance of an equilibrium between the contributions and satisfactions of the participants. Contributions are provided by the participants to the organization, while satisfaction is provided by the organization to the participants, workers. The individual participant would remain in the organization only when his inducements outweigh his contributions. His inducement, the things which he is getting in terms of his personal satisfaction. Organization survives when till when organizations survive, as long as it has the capacity to offer effective inducement in sufficient quantities to maintain the equilibrium of the system. Say, for example, there is any institution, any organization for that matter. How long the students will be there? How long the faculty will be there? Only when they are getting satisfaction more than their contribution. Do you agree with me? Is it difficult? Do you agree with this? Do you want to have any addition, subtraction for these things? Okay, very nice. Thus, with regard to motivation of people in the organization, Barnard rejected the classical theory of economic man and broadly agreed with the human relations with regard to the motivation people in the organization. Okay, so here once again the same thing. Participants' sources of satisfaction. One is specific inducements, another is general. So specific inducement, what are the specific inducements? This is once again like to a greater extent self-explanatory. Material inducements. So these are the things provided by, inducements are the things provided by whom? By whom? Inducements are provided by whom? So inducements are provided by, very good. So administration, management, or organization. Here the organization should be the one. So organization provides some specific and some general. These are the things which determine the satisfaction in comparison with the contribution of the worker. Based on this, whether a worker will remain in the organization, whether the worker is happy, are determined. So material inducements like money. But one problem with this is material rewards are ineffective beyond the subsistence level. Subsistence, say for example, subsistence farming. What do you understand by subsistence farming? Please explain. What do you understand by subsistence farming? one of the defects of Indian agriculture is still not like thought as a business. Agriculture is a way of life. Subsistence farming, a farmer produce only to fulfill one's basic needs. Subsistence farming, a farmer grows paddy, farmer grows like wheat, farmer grows some peas, farmer grows some leafy vegetables, farmer grows, say for example, chili. All these things are required. So he takes the chili, he takes the peas, he takes wheat, and he prepares and heats. So here he is not thinking of anything like selling and getting the money. So what is required minimum? That is subsistence. So here minimum resources that are necessary for survival. Money is required. Say for example, you have got a family, you have got your children, you need to lead a life. So it's only till that. And after that, material inducement, non-material opportunities for distinction. So here you are giving an opportunity to show that you are a person who have excelled in this field. You are a knowledgeable person. Say for example, for like think that at Sambhavam, think that I'm getting, say for example, 5 lakhs. So material inducements, they are giving think that uniform, everything. Afterwards, since I am teaching in Sambhavam, I got the distinction of the best faculty for UPSC. All the people, all the students are going crazy about my teaching. I'm feeling like although like I'm almost walking 10 feet above the ground. And they are providing desirable physical conditions, work from home opportunity. They are giving all the required things, technical background, everything. Ideal beneficence, ideal benefactions means benefiting, such as pride of workmanship and many other things. So here these are the inducements, specifically making your workers to work. Other afterwards, you have got 4 types of general incentives also. They're associated attractiveness based upon compatibility with associates. So you will be working only when you have got compatibilities with workers. This is in fact the biggest problem. One is management torture and another is your colleagues. So that has to be like a very good association, compatibility with the co-workers and the people who are there. Working adaptation of working condition has habitual methods and attitudes. Here, very important thing is your work has become part of you. You might have heard like many people, even after retirement, they cannot sit in their home because work has become part of them. Teaching has become part of me. Opportunity for feeling of enlarged participation in the course of events. I am getting opportunity to decide the things. Next, the conditions of communicating with others, a condition based on personal comfort in social relations. The way I am communicated, the way I interact, they're excellent. They're comfortable. So these are 4 general incentives or inducements. Okay. So let us just brush up these things. Contribution, satisfaction, equilibrium. Survival of the organization depends upon contribution, satisfaction, equilibrium. So contributions are provided by participants, satisfaction by the organization. Participants satisfy depends upon 4 specific inducement and 4 general inducements. Right? Now, acceptance theory of authority. Please tell me, what is this? Acceptance theory of authority. What do you understand by this? I want answer for this. Acceptance theory. Very simple one. Please try to answer. Okay, listen to me. It simply says that acceptance of the orders by the subordinates is the most important thing, and that is the source of authority. Listen to me here. Barnard rejected traditional, classical, formal, or positional theory of authority advocated by Weber and Foyle. So, according to Weber, say for example, anyone who is at the top, anyone who occupies this position will have the authority. This was rejected by Barnard. He advocated acceptance theory. According to him, basis of legitimacy of superior or any leader's authority, or simply basis of legitimacy of authority, is the acceptance of it by the subordinates. The superiors can exercise authority only when it is accepted by subordinates. If subordinates won't accept, then definitely they won't have any authority. Clear? Say, for example, think superior. Superior says, Raghu, think that Raghu is a teacher. Raghu, you please take the class. I'm not taking the class for many reasons. Then where is the authority? A person who is giving the orders has the authority only until and unless subordinates accept. If subordinates are not accepting, then he is not having authority. A person, according to Weber, who is in a position has authority because of legal rationality. It is based on law and it is rational. It is based on the position. For anything to be called authoritative in bureaucracy, it is legal and it is rational. Barnard says, no, those are not the things. A superior has the authority only when subordinates obey, subordinates accept the communication or order. Very, very important here. The concept they have introduced communication. Communication, the broader thing or the thing which you know is order. What is authority? Definition is very important. You should internalize. Once again, I repeat, don't try to mug up as it is. Take the key points and you make one definition. According to Weber, authority is the character of communication. What is authority? Authority is the feature of the order in a formal organization. By virtue of it, it is accepted by the contributor or a member of the organization as governing or determining what he does or is not to do so far as the organization is concerned. So I repeat, what is authority? Number one, it is the feature or characteristic of communication or order. It is a feature of communication. What is this feature? In that, what is there? Character of the communication by virtue of it. In this, it has got something. What is that? By virtue of it, it is accepted by the members. As what? As governing their behaviors. What to do, what not to do, as far as the organization is concerned. Right? So authority depends upon the acceptance. When a communication or order accepted as authority, when is a communication or order accepted as authority? So here, once again, a very simple one, but a profound one. Please give your attention. A communication becomes authoritative when dash when dash by workers or participants or individuals. Please do answer, fill the blank. A communication is authoritative or having authority only when accepted. Very good. So accepted by, right? Then when will these people accept? Please interlink the things. When workers accept, then only you get authority. When workers are not accepting, you won't get. Then what makes the workers to accept? The subordinate will accept the communication or order as authoritative only when they follow the 4 conditions simultaneously. If one is missing, then no acceptance. One, understand the communication. What the superior is saying. So, what superior is saying, the individual should understand. Communication is not inconsistent with the purpose of the organization. Communication, say, superior is, say, for example, he has got some vested interest. Say, like you might have gone through the case studies. So he is sending some undecent messages. He is asking for you to go for a cup of coffee. He is moving in different direction. Then will that person's communication will be accepted? The answer is no. When the communication, so here very important, if at all, if you want to have better clarity, you substitute with orders. When the order of the superior is compatible with the personal interest as a whole, right? So organizational purpose and also personal interest should match. When he is able to mentally and physically comply with the communication. Say, for example, the superior may say, before tomorrow morning, I want you to type 200 pages. It may not be possible. He may say even 10 pages, but I am in the middle of a natural disaster. Say, for example, a very horrifying thing has happened, point in context. People in the eastern coast, especially this Andhra Pradesh area, many of my friends, students, at their home, 5 feet water is standing by now, for many reasons. So here, can a person say, for example, now in this area, especially like these areas, nobody is staying in first floor. All the people, they are staying in, nobody is staying in ground floor. All are staying in minimum first floor. One of my friend messaged me and he said that in a small, like 30-40, like dimension house, 25 members are stranded. So in this situation, can he mentally and physically comply with the communication? You may say, just send me 3 messages. Just send me, just take the class for 5 minutes. Right? You have to interconnect these things. One is when the subordinate accept the order, it becomes authoritative. When he will accept, when he understands, when it is not inconsistent with the organization purpose, when it is compatible or consistent with the personal interest, when he is able to do, when he is able to comply, right? The same is explained in another fashion with respect to zone of indifference. So here it simply says that the act here, it's a hypothetical one, which is once again based on the contribution and also satisfaction. Let me explain this. The acceptance, the acceptance of authority is facilitated by zone of indifference of the individual participant in the organization. Orders will be accepted by the subordinate so long as they fall within this zone. Hence, executive should issue only those orders which fall within this zone. The extent of zone of indifference is determined by contribution and satisfaction equilibrium. So here, think of the situation here. So here, contributions are provided by the worker. Satisfaction is provided by the organization. So here, based on this, an equilibrium is maintained. Think that this is the zone. This is determined by this. Anything here is accepted. Anything outside this, the worker won't accept. So here, it is in the betterment of the organization and also superior that he gives orders which are there within this zone only, right? So any doubt with respect to the things we have discussed? If you have got any doubt, please let me know. Okay. So still, like, shall I take the class or you want a break? So still we have got simple things, communication principles, 7, decision making, very important one, executive functions. Okay. Shall we continue the class? Or shall we wind up? Okay, great. So now listen to me. I do understand it is very difficult to have impeccable concentration at this point of time. Just listen to me, concentrate on the crux, go home, just read these things. So here once again, I am requesting you, don't try to do any research, any thesis writing. The things which I have given, master them. After mastering those things, if you want anything, you ask me. Sir, whatever you are giving me, I have mastered. What next I should do? I have already given 2 important things, Mohit Bhattacharya and Goel and Arora. You should be reading these things. Other than that, please don't do all the things which I come across. Simply will get disturbed. Okay. Now coming with the things. Okay. Communication principles. There are 7. So here these are pretty simple. Let me just explain these things one by one. Most important thing which you have to keep in mind is, okay, 1 minute. Here, Barnard is giving more importance to the concept of communication. He in fact defines authority by taking communication. Communication means orders. Orders. What are the principles? See, here very important, you have to imagine, say for example, an organization. In this organization, superior gives orders. So what are the principles that person has to follow? Communication principles which are important in establishing and also maintaining objective authority. If at all, if you want to maintain authority, if at all, if you want to establish authority, there are 7 principles according to Barnard to be followed. Channels of communication should be defined. What does this mean? So there should be well-defined channels of communication. Superior subordinates. What's the channel? Is it through call, phone call? Is it through a message? Is it through a email? Is it through some other person? So that should be well defined. What's the way in which it is communicated? So channels of communication should be well defined. Say for example, superior to subordinate. If at all, if you take like formal organization, SP and SI. A culprit or a person, you have booked some person and he is behind the bar, something like he is in station. He is in station. You have arrested him and he is behind bars. Think like that hypothetically. Then SP says, release that person. Release that person. Think that it's me. So you have become SP and you are my student and you say, release that person. So here, there should be some defined communication, definite communication. What does this mean? It should be defined that an SI has to obey the orders given by the SP if it is written. So how definite it will be? It will be very definite. Then the SI definitely has to oblige. If simply the SP says release, he may not oblige because it is not well defined. It is not in accordance with the defined things. Everyone in the organization must have a definite channel, formal channel of communication. They should have specific and definite formal channel. Say for example, now constable. Constable want to communicate with SP. There should be definite channel. If you think that there are many, so this is also one channel, this is also one channel, this is also one channel, and afterward this is no. Everyone in the organization must have a definite channel of communication through which they get the orders. The line of communication must be direct and short as possible. Say for example, in an organization, if at the top a person is there, you want to communicate something to the worker, think that there are 15 layers. It will be distorted. It should be as short as possible and it should be as direct as possible. Competence of persons serving as communication centers should be adequate. Say, for example, there is an organization. There we have got people from northern part of India, we have got people from northeastern part of India, we have got people from southern part of India, we got women, we got men, we have got transgender. The person who is at the center communicating the things should be competent. Complete formal line of communication must usually be used. Informal may not be. SP फोन करके बाद में फोन करेगा और बोलेगा ऐसे को छोड़ दो, नहीं होगा. You should use the formal line of communication, write it down and send it. The line of communication must not be interpreted while the organization is functioning. Clear line of communication should be there. Every communication must be authenticated, means it should be well defined by rules and regulations. So these are simple. Remembering these things becomes little challenging. Once again, you have to make keywords and you have to remember these things. Next is with respect to decision making. So this is a very simple one here, but when we discuss Simon, the whole concept revolves around decision making with respect to Simon. So it is a simple one. Here, what is this one? Here, Barnard has made two kinds of distinctions. One is organization decision making at the organization level, and decision made by the individual decision making. Barnard says that organizational decisions are very good. Individuals, comparatively, he is not saying that these are bad, these are good. He is saying that comparatively organizational decisions are good. Next, he says that strategic factors. So one has to identify those factors which are directly related to the aim, objective. If something is directly related to the objective, purpose, that constitutes strategic factors. Once you identify these strategic factors are those which will lead to the goals, which fulfill the purpose. And when you separate these things, decision making will be optimum. So simply, in other words, in an elaborate way, organization decision making and individual decision making. Barnard emphasized the organizational decision making, which is a result of deliberation, discussion, calculation, and thought. He emphasized on this rather than individual decisions, which are result of subconscious, automative, and responsive factors. So here, these are not deliberately made. You have not discussed, you have not calculated, you have thought, subconsciously have made. You are responding to something, then you have made. So decisions made by organizations are more logical, more rational than personal decisions by the individuals. So point to be noted, according to Barnard, organization decisions are logic and rational. The reason being, they are done based by deliberation, calculation, and thought. When compared to individual decisions, which are not based on these things, but these are based on subconscious, automative, and responsive factors. Next is with respect to strategic factors. Decision makers should distinguish between relevant facts affecting the fulfillment of organization purpose, end, or goal. Once you identify those things, you can make better decisions. This requires search for strategic factors by analyzing the situation. These factors should be controlled and modified as they influence the organization decision making. So what are strategical factors? Strategical factors are those which influence the purpose, which influence the goal. So you have to identify and you have to give more importance for that. Say, for example, now, what are the strategical factors? Please answer this. What are the strategical factors with respect to Sambhavam IAS or any IAS institution? What are the strategical factors that should be there? Please do answer. Strategical factors. Please do answer. Okay, I'll give you the hint also. See, strategical factors are those directly related to the purpose. What is the purpose of Sambhavam IAS or any IAS institution? To see that a student get IAS success first rank. How can a student get first rank? Those are the things said to be strategical decision making. good content, good faculty, good material, good teacher, library, then. So this, like, definitely still, don't you say like one-to-one mentorship? Don't you feel like need of working like a team? मैं इधर हिमाचल प्रदेश में हूँ, among the mountains, आई एम ऑल अलोन, मैं पता नहीं क्या कर रहा हूँ, किधर जा रहा हूँ, so I need a support system. So here, so these are the things which have to be demarcated and have to be given more importance. Very simple one. Okay. Coming to the executive functions. So here he has defined in a very beautiful way functions of executive. What are the functions of the executive? So here you have to relate it to PM, CM. You have to relate it to CEOs of organization. You have to relate it to the leaders. You have to relate to any organization who is executing. So executives are the people who are not framing the laws, but they are just executing. Functions of executive relates to all the work essential to vitality and endurance of the organization, so far at least as it must be accomplished through the formal coordination. So here he is giving a very broader one. Here, functions of the executive mainly are concentrated with respect to bringing coordination. What all the things required, each and every aspect, in so far as they leads to the coordination, are considered as functions of executive. So you have got like POCC, post guard, as the functions of executive. Now this he is giving a broader one: planning, coordination, budgeting. As classical said, he is giving a broader picture. Functions of executive relate to all the work essential to the vitality and endurance of organization, so far at least as it must be accomplished through formal coordination. Executive work is not that of an organization, but it is a specialized work of maintaining the organization for operation. So here, executive's function is not about building an organization, things like that. He is just maintaining the organization in operation. That is the main function, maintaining the organization in operation. In that, there are three essential functions of the executive: establishment and maintenance of system of communication, securing essential efforts and services from the subordinates by motivating them to exert themselves for the organization purpose, formulation and defining the purpose and objectives. So this he has defined in general. According to him, in general, these are the functions which constitutes the functions with respect to an executive. And here, three specific: with respect to communication line, with respect to motivating the subordinate so that you get all the efforts and services from the subordinate, and formulating and defining the purpose and objectives. So these are the things. This is the crisp and the most authentic way. After that, the same line of thought were further taken by Simon. He advocated bounded rationality model of decision making. He advocated the concept of satisficing behavior against the maximizing behavior, which was advocated by classical thinkers. He is the most important exponent of behavioral approach. So what is this? Let me just brief you so that Next, when I explain, the things will be clear to you. So here Simon says that decision making, to make a decision, number one should be aware of all the things. One should be aware of all the things. The question is, are we aware of all the things? Do we have the data of all the things required? Do we have? Please let me know. To make a decision, we should be aware of all the related things, and we should have data with respect to all the things which affect. Generally, do we have? Very good. The answer is no, we don't have a thing. And also, we are not having unlimited capacity. So here, instead of maximizing the behavior, you have to accept a very important thing, which is the reality, that is satisfying behavior. Satisfying behavior is one which is good enough. Good enough. So here we all tend to have this as the more realistic one. Among the resources available, are we having all the resources? Say for example, maximizing behavior. Say for example, Sambhavam IAS. Are you having the high-tech facilities which generally provided in many institutions? Any IAS, since you know this, I'm putting here. Say for example, I was working for like Z5 TV. There the things were entirely different. As soon as I enter, there used to be a makeup person who used to do makeup. And there used to be like a production house, one cameraman, one looking into the mic, one looking into the script. And there the things will be astonishing. We used to like stand beside a podium. There used to be a prompter. Means all the things which are there simply will be visible to me. Behind this prompter, there used to be a camera. Means I will be seeing at you. I will be reading from the prompter. Prompter won't be available to you. So, won't be seen by you. Not only that, sophisticated things. Say, for example, many institutions, they are charging nearly 2 lakhs. Are you getting that fund? In some batches, say, for example, there are 1,000 students. In some, there are 500. So to calculate 2 lakh into 1,000, what? They have got huge resources. They can manage the things in a very different way. So here, you cannot think of maximizing the things. You have to have satisfying behavior. Satisfying is good enough. So this is a deep concept. Don't get blown away with this. I'll explain these things in detail when we take up decision making by Simon. Right? So we'll try to finish Simon. Afterwards, we'll finish like behavioralism, all the related things. Afterwards, we'll move to the systems approach. Right? Okay. So I request all of you to go through these things and just concentrate on the keywords. Just concentrate on the keywords, keep on repeating and try to apply these things. Say, for example, executive. In government, in private, most important thing, you should have an imagination of an organization. Any organization. So, very important, listen to me. Go home and try to have a picture of 3-4 organizations. Government organization, private organization, non-governmental organization, what is the structure, who are there, and you try to apply these things which we study, right? So thanks for attending the class for a extra half an hour. If you have got any doubts, please let me know. So if you don't have any doubts, let me wind up the session here. Have a great day. Enjoy your preparation. Anything you need, any modification needed, please do let me know. Our goal, our purpose is you getting succeeded. In that major component will be your satisfaction also. So we'll be doing our best to see that you get satisfied. Definitely that is one of the prerequisite for you to get the service also. Having said that, let me wind up the session here. Have a great day. Enjoy your preparation. Thank you.